In the final episode of the season, I'm joined by Sophie Holland, Principal of Ustinov College, to explore postgraduate life at Durham, including how business school students can build skills, networks and experiences beyond their degree. First up, we're going to find out more about Ustinov College, what makes it unique and what postgraduate life here is really like. Hi Sophie, thank you for joining us today on the business of being a postgrad. If you could just tell us a little bit about yourself and your role as Principal of Ustinov College.
Yeah, so hi everyone, my name's Sophie. I was the Vice Principal of Ustinov College for 2 years, and from September this year I will be the Principal, which I'm really excited about. I've had about 10 years experience in education, which is quite varied. It varies from working with vulnerable young people in further education and has developed into a role in higher education. In terms of being Principal of Ustinov, I'm really excited because we have a fantastic range of students and I feel like this is definitely where I'm most at home. I used to work at Collingwood College for a brief period of time, which I really did enjoy. Very different to working at Ustinov College, but I do feel like we are definitely moving in that space of having the same engagement and the same vision.
So for listeners who might not be familiar with Durham's collegiate system, would you maybe explain the collegiate system for our audience?
So Durham has 17 colleges. Ustinov is the only postgraduate only college, which is very unique, but all of the colleges are unique and special in their own way. It's so much more than an accommodation block, which I think sometimes students that are not familiar with the collegiate system might look at it and think, oh, that's just where I eat and sleep. It is actually so much more than that. It is a literal family, a home away from home, where you can get all of your support, advice, guidance, and you can also get up to some really cool things as well that you've never tried before. We can help you to be able to enhance your career journey. We'll be able to support you with any questions that you might have. And we are literally here as a collegiate network for you all of the time. So we're not just an accommodation block. We're very unique. We're collegiate in a different way to other universities as well. So it's important for people to really do their research and take a look at everything that we do have to offer as a collegiate system.
And the college system, you don't necessarily need to live in a college to become a member of a college, is that correct?
Oh, absolutely, yeah, no way. We have, for Ustinov, for example, we have around about 1,000 members across the piece, and we have 400 students who live in, and the rest of our students live out. And so, lots of our students who live out get involved in all of our activities and events.
And is it quite a diverse community? Do you have students coming from all sorts of different backgrounds and different kind of levels of their postgraduate?
Yeah, so probably the other colleges maybe won't like me saying this, but we're probably the most diverse college out of all of the colleges. We have 94 nationalities here at Ustinov College, which is outstanding. And I'm really proud of that because it allows us to really immerse ourselves in cultural experience. And so as well as the diversity across the nationalities, we have lots of students who study lots of different subjects. So we do have postgraduate students who are doing masters, but also postgraduate students who are doing PhDs as well. And that really allows us academically and socially to be very diverse. And it's quite, it's incredible for me as principal to be surrounded by experts. And I really feel that that's something that we, are very different to other colleges in terms of how diverse that we are.
What would a typical year look like for a student at Ustinov?
Okay, so it's a little bit of a myth actually, because people sometimes think that when you're part of Ustinov College, postgrads don't really want to do anything. And that is absolutely not the case. In fact, postgraduate students just offer a very different type of enrichment in many ways. But in the same ways, they still like to have parties, events, activities, go to the bar. Sometimes it's seen that, just want to come here and study. And that is an important element of the year. And we do support people through that period of time during the year. But a typical year for Ustinov, so welcome activities happens a little bit different for us. Our international students arrive a little bit earlier, and so we offer like low-level welcome activities at that point, kind of help them get settled into their rooms. For any students who are living out, they can come and see the campus itself, have tours of the campus, find out the key areas such as the gym, the bar, where we hold our events and activities. And then we have our welcome and orientation week, which will include things like bar nights, and they might have the odd pub crawl in there if the common room plans one of those, and I'll talk a little bit about the common room in another section. And so we'll help you get registered. So it's really important that all students get support with registration. And then we move forward into matriculation, which is an incredible event that everybody loves. Not many people might be familiar with what it is, because when I first started working at Durham, I was like, what does that even mean? So along with your college office, which is your principal, your assistant principal and your vice principal, we will take you to the cathedral. So you're officially matriculated into the university. And it's an incredible experience that we all do together. And here at Ustinov, afterwards, we have a brunch and a networking event so that students get to know each other.
Sounds really nice. That's available for all students regardless of their college?
Oh yeah, all students, regardless of college, can come to matriculation. And then we have our induction cafes. So we're a little bit different at Ustinov because when students join us at postgrad level, you are professionals. We treat you as colleagues. Of course, you're students, but you have already had that learning experience. So our induction is an induction cafe, which is a little bit more so you can get to know us and we can get to know you and the kinds of events and activities you want to be involved in.
Sounds really interesting. So is Ustinov based in one location, or do you have multiple campuses across the city?
Yeah, so we have two sites. We have our Sheraton Park site and we also have our Dryburn Court site. Each site has different facilities and different activities happening there. For example, at the Dryburn Court site, it's really good for access into the city. It's on the bus route to get into the city. It's very close to the new business school, which is fantastic for students, and it's right next door to the hospital. At the Sheraton Park site, we're on the Hill College route. It's a little bit out of the way of the main campus, but it's very, very close to the Hill facilities, which is the library and all of the cafes, the teaching and learning centre and stuff like that.
So now that the students have been formally inducted into the university, what does the rest of the year look like for a Ustinovian?
So there's so much to get involved in as a Ustinovian. And throughout the course of the year, we have our sports teams who regularly compete with the other colleges. Some of our students who are sports scholars will represent the university, and we go and support them as well when that's happening. We have a series of formals. At Ustinov, again, we're a bit unique. We formal hop, so our formals take place in other colleges.
Okay.
So we have a formal in the Castle, we have our welcome formal in St Mary's, and we are the only college who hosts formals for students in the chapter house in the cathedral. So we do give our students a really good variety of the college experience, not just here at Ustinov, but we do go around and visit the other colleges as well. We run a series of academic seminars in lots of different subject areas, and the idea is that the community comes together, not just Ustinovians, but other students, other postgrads from other colleges, as well as staff members from the university, and the local community of Durham can come into Ustinov College in our seminar room and experience an academic seminar. And quite often we follow this with networking or a social event afterwards. Throughout the course of the year, we celebrate many cultural celebrations. We do have a party and event for Spring Festival. We do lots for Thanksgiving. Students typically organise these things alongside college management and really support us to make sure we're getting it right. The students are the experts in their cultural celebrations. Last year we had an incredible celebration for Diwali, and our students celebrated Holi as well, which is just fantastic to see. One more thing that we do really well here at Ustinov is our volunteering projects. We give all Ustinovians the opportunity to do outreach in local primary schools, and they can go and explain their thesis topic or their subject in local primary schools and meet the community. We have an excellent partnership with Refuse Cafe, which is a local business that offers a cafe service for members of the public who may not necessarily be able to afford to regularly go to a cafe, and we volunteer there. And coming for this year, we're going to be doing a fantastic tennis outreach project, which I'm really excited about, but I don't know all the details yet, so I won't spoil it for
Well, it sounds like there's a lot to get involved in throughout the year. Do students stay here throughout between the terms as well?
Because of what the academic year looks like for a postgraduate student, we have students here all year round. So even throughout celebrations that the university may be closed for, like Easter and Christmas, Ustinov are still open and available for students to access support. Not many of our students, given the diverse range of cultures and nationalities, do actually go home for all of the breaks, and that's fantastic because we're able to be open for those.
Next, we're talking about finding your community, from making friends to connecting with students from different backgrounds and disciplines. So many students worry about building friendships and finding their community. How does Ustinov help students make those connections?
I think it's something many students are concerned about, especially international students who may be travelling away from home for the first time or moving away from home for the first time and having to find their feet with like social connection. In terms of Ustinov, what we do in the first week when you arrive, international arrivals is a little bit of an opportunity for international students to just find their feet. Make local connections with some students from maybe the same country or different countries, talk a little bit about their interests. And it really gives students a chance to settle in before the welcome and orientation period starts.
So everyone's feeling the same kind of way at that stage, right? Everyone's in the same situation.
Yeah, and also everyone's like gearing up the information overload. It doesn't matter whether you're a staff member, international student from the UK. When you first come into college or into university, you will be given a lot of information. So that first week is an information overload. And during that week, we offer lots of kind of social opportunities where there's no pressure. You can get involved if you want to. You don't have to. It's like coming for a coffee, coming for a piece of cake, meeting the principal, vice principal, student support staff, having tea and biscuits, going for a tour of the city, looking in college to find the spaces that suit you the most, but really relaxing with it. And I think that gives students an opportunity to just find their feet. And then the week after that, it is a chance for students to be able to look at opportunities available to them, new things that they never thought they would do before, have taster sessions, and most importantly, meet here at Ustinov, the Graduate Common Room, which is where a lot of our student experience, if not all of our student experience, takes place. But again, there's absolutely no pressure. If students are still struggling after that point, we have a fantastic support team here at Ustinov who are just ready and available to assist students with even the feeling of loneliness and how that can shape the student journey. As soon as a student feels like they need some help and support, we want to help them, because the earlier on we can intervene, the better. All staff here at Ustinov and student leaders, open door policy. Come and tell us how you're feeling. Come and tell us what you want to see, and we'll be able to help and support you.
And how valuable is it for students to build friendships and networks with students across different disciplines?
I would say it is probably the most important thing that students should do when they come here. There'll be many academics who are going to say, no, the most important thing is to do it, which it is important. But I don't actually feel that you can do that unless you are supported in a community that's thriving. And sometimes that doesn't just always sit in the college. You need to expand your network within the department. You need to be able to work across departments. And you also need to develop friendships with other students across the university. And we do lots of intercollegiate activities that don't just sit within the sports space. We have intercollegiate formals, intercollegiate mixers. I mean, there's work with the student union that's like 250 clubs and societies you can join. And I think that that's really important that you explore all of those avenues. I always say to students when they first arrive, take that first month to go and explore what's available. Go meet people. Put yourself out there if you feel comfortable to. Say yes, kind of have a great time, sign up for everything, and then focus and cherry pick really where you want to focus your activities socially.
For a student who might be more naturally shy than another, what advice would you give to them?
Well, firstly, they won't be the only one. So, when you feel that little, when you are feeling that way and you are shy, okay, let's say you're not going to be the only shy person who is going to come to Durham University or to experience a college for the first time at Durham University, or you might have come for another collegiate university, but you're still shy and a bit nervous about joining. That feeling is completely natural. You could be the most confident person in the world and arrive here at Ustinov and you still might feel a bit shy and nervous. So what I would say is, if you are feeling that way out, you don't need to get involved in everything. You don't need to put yourself out there, and you don't have to make any decisions in the first couple of weeks or even term. you will have the opportunity to make decisions in year. And you might start with just getting together with a group of friends, making friends in your kitchen if you live in, or in the local area where if you're living out. You might just decide to share a bit of food with somebody, have a conversation, and then that might develop into you joining a club and society. But you don't have to be a ready-made student. And I always say about postgraduate students, it's really important that you don't count yourself out of the Durham experience, because that can be very easy to do. So make sure that you're counting yourself in and giving yourself the best possible opportunity to have some form of experience that suits you. The beauty of Durham and the collegiate system really is that there's something for everybody.
Next up, we'll look at how Ustinov's opportunities can help business school students learn, develop and connect beyond the classroom. So one of the unique aspects of Ustinov College is the range of opportunities available beyond those social activities you've told us about. Could you tell us a little bit more about some of these opportunities that students can get involved with once they're here?
So we've developed a scholarship programme in partnership with our graduate common room, and it will be available for students in the 2026 academic year to apply for. One of the key things is there's going to be between 12 and 16 roles which do offer a scholarship, which ranges between £1,000 and £2,000. And the idea of these scholarships is so that students can really get involved in leadership opportunities. So the roles that will be available will be an academic seminar lead, a social media lead, tech and facilities lead, bar supervisor role to be able to support events and activities. There will be a treasurer, president, vice president, and those traditional roles will still be in place. But these scholarship roles will be available to allow students to be able to come in and try and run a seminar series or take part in leading the welfare events and activities for students. So we do offer those scholarships. We also have a series of funds which are available to our students here in Ustinov. So we have a fund called the Norman Richardson Fund, and it is a research fund. So for our postgraduate students who are actively involved in fieldwork and research, they are able to apply to the fund for anything that might be costing them quite a bit of money in terms of fieldwork. We do give out many scholarships through the Norman Richardson Fund each year, and I think it's fantastic for those students who are coming here, either PhD or Masters, and wanting to do research. We are able to support them with that. We also give students travel awards. Many of our community at Ustinov travel for conferences. They are up and down the country, around the UK. They're also travelling outside of the UK quite often. And so students are able at Ustinov to apply for some money to reimburse their travel as well if they're travelling for a conference.
Is the conference often linked to their academic programme?
Oh yeah, definitely. Yeah, that's one of the stipulations on the application, is that it's linked to the subject that they are studying. And it's just to enable students to be able to go and experience these conferences. And actually it helps us as a college to receive the information when student returns with all of this information from this conference. We might run a seminar on that particular subject. And so all of that research and knowledge does go 360. So everyone benefits, the student and also the college as well.
Sounds like there's some great opportunities for them to develop their professional development. I know that you also have a publication called the Ustinovian. So maybe for some students who are creative or interested in marketing, are they able to get involved with the publication?
Absolutely. One of the scholarships that we will offer within that new structure that I talked about will be a publication role, and that is available for a student to take hold of the Ustinovian and really make it their own. It changes vibe every year. It's an opportunity for current students to talk about the Ustinov community, about what they're getting up to in their lectures, what it's like to be a student at Durham, which is fantastic. And the student who is successful to be the publication lead will put this together, and then we end up with a beautiful magazine which brings together what Ustinov is about. There's 2 publications of the Ustinovian each year, which is fantastic. And we do also have an academic publication, which is called the Pantomath. And this is different to the Usinovian because it isn't focused on community as such. It's focused on research. And this gives current postgraduate researchers an opportunity to put snippets of their thesis into a journal. And this is really good for career development. One thing that I absolutely pride us on here at Ustinov is we're always thinking about the student's next step. So that graduate job market, career development, and the Pantamath is a perfect way for researchers to get their thoughts on paper and have that early publication opportunity.
Many of our business school students arrive from diverse backgrounds. Often some of them have already been working in the professional world for a couple of years. How do you find that they adapt to life in college?
It's an interesting one. You are definitely right in what you said there about all of the experience the business school students bring with them. And we just grab that with both hands because actually they're quite often the expert. They have a lot of experience out working in the business field and we absolutely love it. One thing that I will say is we have fantastic engagement from students from the business school, and that is because they want to share knowledge and they want to have that experience. So when it comes to adapting to college, really I would say a lot of the students from the business school, they bring with them the skills to be able to deliver seminars, offer opportunities and advice and guidance to students. And we do offer students specific opportunities. So for example, we do on arrival, we do a piece on LinkedIn and we offer students opportunities to get their headshots taken for LinkedIn professionally. We have a careers team come and look at what their LinkedIn looks like and where they can make amendments and all that kind of stuff. But quite often we do find that business school students are telling us what they want to see. And that's great. I want to hear more of it. And I want them to bring their expertise into college. They do that. And that's fantastic. But we can offer them advice, guidance and support as well.
Do you have many guest speakers coming in at all to come and speak to the students here at Ustinov?
Yeah, we have lots of guest speakers. We have a fantastic alumni network, which allows us to have fantastic guest speakers. An example of this is Alia Al-Shamsi, who is the curator of the Louvre in Abu Dhabi. She came to talk about how actually her subject area is business, but she developed that into something different and really partnered that with her love of art. She came to Ustinov and did a seminar, and we have fantastic guest speakers come each week on a Wednesday evening. We have a seminar every single Wednesday, which normally runs from 5 p.m. till 7 p.m. And it's great for students to be able to network, but also listen to experts in their field. We had a session with Shara Hewitt, who is a partner at Deloitte last year. She came and delivered a session on what the big five are looking for in her area, which is consultancy. And that was fantastic. Packed out seminar, which is great. And then there is the opportunity after the seminar for students to be able to network with these people, which I think is fantastic. And it really offers something different as well.
They have the opportunities to network on their program, you know, with industry and different sectors and business, but having it at the college as well sounds like another great opportunity. Like, you may as well network as much as you can.
I think what's interesting is it doesn't always have to be in the subject that you're studying. And that's something that I've really found, especially from students from the business school. They are just interested, switched on students, professionals who are willing to give something a go. So some of our seminars may be around physics. They may be about English literature. We get professionals from all over the globe, different subject areas. But what we do find is that business school students attend because they understand that it isn't just a one-track mind. Kind of the world of academia and business is about understanding everybody. We had a guest speaker actually in our last seminar series who is a DBA student from the business school, and she talked about her experience leading up to choosing to do a DBA. And we had loads of students on the MBA cohort, DBA cohort, business school students from across the university. But when I was in the seminar, I sat back and I thought, actually, what we get from our business school cohort is they're just willing to sit and listen and understand how that suits their progression.
Yeah, I mean, MBA students, like you just mentioned, come from, different professions. You might have them from finance or engineering or HR or consulting.
Yeah.
And they're coming here together, often living in choosing to live in Ustinov. Obviously, it's a postgraduate, more mature college environment. What kind of attributes of an MBA student do you see thrive at Ustinov?
MBA students, very confident. typically, I'm just talking generally here, they're very confident and they really want to share their industry experience with other professionals in Ustinov. And actually, many MBA students who I've worked with, they want the opportunity to stand up and present, and they see that as not just part of their departmental role, they see that as part of their college role as well. And what I find is their experience outside of the classroom that they've had before they've turned up to Durham. They're really great at delivering seminars. They're really great at mentoring and coaching other students who may not be as confident as them, or they may not have had that industry experience. They might not even be in the same subject area, but I found that they're really good at coming together as part of the Ustinov team and organising and being part of that wider team of students that want to see Ustinov succeed. That can be in any field. It can be in sports, can be in events, activities, club nights, volunteering, but the attributes really are that ability to adapt. MBA students can adapt to any sort of environment. It's quite impressive, actually. I'm very jealous of many of our MBA students, the way they can just come in, adapt to the situation. It's great.
And finally, we'll share some practical advice on settling in and finding your feet at Durham. So, Sophie, for students who are arriving internationally, what practical advice would you give them for settling into life in the UK and also life here in Durham?
It's an interesting one for arriving internationally because you need to be very mindful of the weather here in the UK. When students do arrive, that period of time, it's starting to get dark on a night. It can be quite cold. And that actually does affect our students, sometimes in a big way in terms of like how they're feeling, their mood. So it's important to pack warm clothing. Maybe bring something with you that reminds you of home as well, just so you have that in your room. And just be mindful that it might be raining. I say it might, but it probably will be raining at that time of year in the UK. And it might be just a little bit cold. But what I will say though is Durham looks beautiful regardless of the weather. So, we get quite a lot of our students excited as well when it snows, because it might be the first time that students may see snow. So just really pack for any weather eventuality. Many colleges, not just Ustinov, offer shopping trips at the beginning of the year for students to be able to go with the common room and with the student leaders and the student influencers and grab things that they need or that they may have forgotten. So they will get the opportunity to do that, but it's always nice to bring something from home, but definitely bring your coat. Also as well, just be prepared. Like the food's very different here in the UK. If it's the first time that you've travelled over here, the first time that you're moving away from home, the food is different, but explore it, embrace it, go and try new things. But also in many colleges, you'll have the opportunity and facilities to cook. And we're always really interested as a college team to find out what you guys like to eat, what you cook. A lot of you are much better chefs than I am. And so, we're always willing to get involved. Many colleges, I know Ustinov do it, we offer potluck opportunities for students to bring some food and share a taste of the traditional food. Those are two things that I definitely think you need to be prepared for.
Is there anything that you think in terms of packing or bringing to your college that is important? Or is there anything you think maybe you see students bring that maybe isn't necessary?
Yeah, well, one thing I will say is do not overpack. We do have shops here in the UK and you can go to the shops and we will help you in Welcome and Orientation Week to be able to navigate where the closest supermarkets are and the closest shops are. So don't overpack. Where my office is situated at Ustinov, it's interesting as I watch students bring everything with them and I'm thinking you've really overpacked. One thing that I will say that is important for students to bring is something that makes them feel comfortable. So if that is something from home, bedding or something that you always have on your mantelpiece or your shelf, because you're not sure how you're going to feel when you arrive here. At Ustinov we get a lot of students arriving through the night, through the evening, and when you do arrive we will offer you the best possible welcome that we can, but it is nice to have something with you that does remind you of home and maybe something to eat from home as well, so that will help you settle in. But don't overpack. We have quite a lot of prohibited items as well on the list, which you will get in our welcome email, things that students really want to plug in that are against many fire regulations. And so it's important to check that information that we do send to you before you arrive.
Are there any particular events or activities that students should look out for very early on?
Yeah, I would say that the Welcome Formal is a one that we offer tickets for really early on in the year and is always sold out. And so it's really important that you're looking out for that information. So that the welcome formal would be one. Any sort of fairs like clubs and societies fairs or sign up fairs where you're able to sign up for, I don't know, the knitting club or the allotment society or the volunteering opportunities. It's really important that you look out for that information. And you will be sent quite a lot of information. So it's important that you navigate that really well if you're able to.
It's definitely worth following some of the colleges, depending on which college you're at, or the Students' Union before you arrive on things like Instagram, because you can see them post about an upcoming societies fair. You know, that's usually held during orientation, isn't it?
Yeah.
Or the sports fair as well, if you're interested in sports.
Yeah, that's such a good point, because you will get a lot of correspondence from your academic department and also your college. And I always say this to students: we know you don't like getting hundreds of emails, but we need to communicate it to you in some way where we know you've got it and you can see it. But following the Instagram pages of the college that you're allocated to is a real dive into college life. And quite often it's the first place that students will look to get a feel for the college, but also be able to find out what's happening. We utilise it a lot at Ustinov, and we try our hardest to keep our email communication as concise and as clear as possible. But in terms of not missing out on anything during that first couple of weeks into a month, you really need to be regularly checking your emails and reading the information, and also checking the social media pages. At Ustinov, any students who arrive and those students who live in and live out can collect one of our electronic welcome tags. It looks like a keyring which has the Ustinov crest on it, and if students scan that on their phone, if the NFC is turned on, you will have the latest updated information for Ustinov, and we just ask students to attach that to their keys, and it covers things like key information on events and activities, and also any sort of emergency student support welfare advice.
That sounds really a useful tool. I imagine there's obviously staff around as well if anybody has any questions or needs any help or support.
Oh yeah, definitely. I mean, you can't miss us. We have our branded t-shirts on with "Here to Help" on the back. And actually, this is like the time of year that staff in colleges absolutely live for. We are as excited and as nervous as you are for you to arrive. You know, we want to meet you. We want to speak to you. And between college staff and your student leaders, we are really here for you throughout the course of that orientation week. There is no such thing as a silly question. I ask many silly questions, or that I think silly questions. It does not exist. If it's on your mind, you should ask us about it. And anybody in Ustinov merchandise, but you know, here in Durham we call it stash, but it is just merchandise with our logo on, ask us, get involved. We're really excited.
And finally, when a student arrives here in Durham this September, what is one thing that you hope they feel when they walk through the doors of Ustinov College for the very first time?
I hope that a student feels like they are at home, regardless of where they're from, their academic background, their thoughts and feelings, and you know, their vision for their future. I want them to feel at home, and I want them to feel part of such an incredible community that will embrace them aside of all of those things. And whether they're nervous, excited, happy, kind of wanting to get to business straight away, I just want you to feel at home.
Well, it sounds like there's so many opportunities for students to get involved when they're here, and so many support services available as well. So I'm sure that won't be too hard for them. Thanks for joining us today, Sophie, on the Business Being a Postgrad. It's been great to hear more about Ustinov College and everything that you're up to.
Yeah, thank you so much. It's been fun.
Thank you for joining us for the Business of Being a Postgrad. We hope that you've enjoyed listening, and if you're coming to Durham this year, we look forward to welcoming you very soon.